This is Thriveonomics, presented by Thrive Mortgage. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Thriveonomics. This is episode 1 of season 2, and I couldn't be happier about the special guest we got for us for kicking off season 2. I'm sitting next to me, Mr. Tay Tolliver. Tay is the new Director of Community Advancement for Thrive Mortgage, and we're going to get into a little bit about what that means and just have a fun conversation about Tay and his background and what makes him tick, what he's passionate about, and what he's doing here.
Sounds good.
All right, Tay, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you, brother.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't really say that it is nice to meet you because I've known you for a while now.
A whole 2 weeks.
A whole 2 weeks, exactly right.
I can say that.
We're yeah, there you go. Raul's meeting
I
you for the
haven't
first
met
time.
him, so we met like 10 minutes ago.
Something like that. But who's counting?
Technology, right? Like it's crazy now.
Yeah, we all become fast friends at Thrive Mortgage. So,
yeah,
that's true.
The voice that you heard right there, that's Raul Espinoza, our vaunted podcast producer and all around great guy, and very happy to see Raul resuming his podcast producer duties. And,
oh man, I'm like dusting off all my stuff, and I'm just joking. It's been a while, but it's been a nice break. It's been fun. I'm super excited. We finally got the Dallas studio up and running.
That's great.
Got everything going. So I'm just real excited to kick back. Start
you look
recording.
real comfortable over there.
Oh yeah, I'm super comfortable. So that was kind of a goal, is to, like we were talking earlier about doing podcasting. It's your first one. So we try to just make it really comfortable. So that way, everyone can just kind of jump in and do their thing and not feel like super uptight and, like nervous, like try to make everything really loungy and nice.
I can dig it.
Yep, absolutely. No, it's fun doing these just because you kind of have some semblance of a plan going into it,
right,
and then a whole different conversation evolves from it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of run with it. So
let's do it.
That's the heart of it. All right, well, let's jump into this discussion. Tay, let's start with you and a little bit of your background. I know big thing that was of immediate interest to me was you're a college basketball player.
Yeah.
Where'd you play?
I played at Lubbock Christian University.
Yeah.
I was the shortest dude on the college team. and
you're not short.
I'm 6'2". I'm shorter than you.
Well, a couple inches, but by most average male size standards, you're not a short guy.
Yeah. So you go to college and you might be halfway decent player, but then when you're the smallest dude on a small college, it humbles you real quick.
you find out where you are in the pecking order pretty fast.
Quick, yeah. But it was a great experience.
Well, good. Okay, so now let's kind of fast forward into what you did what led you to getting into the mortgage industry.
So graduated with a biology degree. During college, I had a lot of sales experience. I sold tennis shoes for Foot Locker. I met a lady who was she was the store manager of Structure.
I remember Structure.
I ended up selling her and her entire family a pair of shoes one day when she was just coming to look.
Right.
And before they walked out of there, she says, "You should come work with me."
There you go.
Started selling men's clothes, knocking it out the park. Graduated school. My godmother said, "You need to do mortgages if you're not going to med school." And 21 years later, you're looking at it.
So what was your godmother's connection with the mortgage industry?
She was a loan officer for Conseco Finance.
There you go.
And literally we had a bullpen of cubicles and telephones and stacks of leads to call people and tell them you could help them save money.
There you go.
And dial for dollars all day till your ears are burning.
What is it about this industry that kept you around so long?
We're not selling vacuums. We're not selling Cutco knives or anything. I mean, we're really helping people, not only wealth, but the legacy for their families.
Right.
And, I've been fortunate enough to take advantage of all the information that I've learned over the years and been able to purchase property and, build that legacy for my family. So it's only right that we pay it forward. So that's been keeping me going all over the country in the past 20 years.
So you've been in the mortgage industry about that long, about 20 years, and held a number of different roles, but predominantly on the origination side.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Started out as a loan officer, ended up becoming a sales manager and then a branch manager, and started opening up branches and revitalizing branches all over the country. Transitioned into more of a business development role.
Right.
And now I kind of have a lot of hats, from business development to community awareness and educator coach. And then I'll never let go of the fact that I love to talk to a first-time home buyer myself and see if we can get them set up to buy their first house and celebrate those wins for sure.
That's very cool. Speaking of which, we have a first-time home buyer on the show as well. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's been a journey, me and my wife, we just didn't know what to do for the longest time, like where to settle down. I don't want to say I don't like commitment because I've been married for, more than 10 years. So it's not that I don't like commitment.
It's a little late for that.
It's just, we just didn't know where we wanted to go. So we were in California for a while. We're in Mexico for a while. We're all over Texas. So we've been everywhere, and finally settled here. And we're going to be settling here in Texas. So first time, pretty crazy. We're
pretty
super
cool,
excited.
Man. So from a first-time homeowner's perspective, what were some of the biggest unknowns for you going into the process?
Biggest unknowns were, really just where do I want to be? Like I want to be kind of close to the city because I like to be in the city. I like the hustle and bustle and stuff like that. But at the same time, I do like kind of that, quiet. I do like to be able to go home and kind of be away from it for a little bit. So we were trying to find a really nice, middle spot, and
gotcha.
It took a while, also like the housing market is just so crazy right now that it was just, we wanted to find a good deal, and I grew up in Dallas. And so just seeing like the housing market, it's like, man, it's so expensive now that I just wanted to find a good deal. And if I wanted to stay in Dallas proper, like I wouldn't have been able to find a good deal. So, so we ended up, we're in Allen. We're going to be in Anna, which is north of Allen.
Right.
And, it's pretty nice. Right off 75. So, it's just a lot of, checking a lot of the boxes, it
good
certainly did. So
getting to spread your wings a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Tay, what's in hearing what Raul was just talking about as far as his experience, what's one of the biggest things when you're working with a first-time home buyer? What's one of the biggest hurdles that they have to overcome, whether it's mentally or financially or just conceptually?
I think a lot of first-time home buyers, the one thing that they just don't know the process.
Right.
You don't get this information just reading a book or in school, which I think that's something that if you had it my way, we would definitely be teaching adulting in high school and college, right? But just the lack of knowledge of the process is the first step.
Right.
And then from there, they can start trying to design that dream home or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But just understanding what it takes to get a home, dispelling any rumors. Everyone wants to get mortgage advice from their cousins or friends, but your situation is completely different than what your friends and cousins and, schoolmates have gone through. So
true that. And also, what if the advice that they got from the loan officer or mortgage advisor that they worked with was completely backwards
exactly
and not what would have set them up for
success,
for future financial success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
that was
Raul,
one of my big things. Yeah, that was one of my big things actually, is like a lot of people I knew that had owns, like family members. I'm not going to call anybody out, of course, but some of them got into like situations where it wasn't the best decision. And if anything I buy, like I have to do a ton of research. And so the more research I did, the more I was really scared to jump into a home. And that was just because a lot of people that I know, most people did do really good decisions, but there's a lot that didn't. And so I was I didn't want to be obviously on that end of it. So it took me a while to finally realize what I needed to do, and reaching out to a lot of people like you guys that are really good at educating people. I've always we're doing our podcast and I'm like quietly kind of asking questions mainly for myself, because it's like, I want to know, because I was in the market and stuff like that. It just took a lot of research, and you're right. If you don't really hear about it like in school or whatever, it's like, how do you really know about these things, and so it's definitely pretty important, like the education part of it. It's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things that folks that visit our Thrive website, if they go to the blog section, one of the things that they can read there is an article titled "The 10 Top Questions That Every Borrower Needs to Ask Their Lender."
Yep.
And it just kind of lays out the case for, look, it doesn't matter if you are a first time home buyer, or even if you bought 3 or 4 homes, but it's been a while. There's a lot that's changed in our industry.
Yeah.
And so this kind of lays out the top 10 questions every borrower needs to ask of their lender, just to kind of get them past that they don't know what they don't know hump.
Right.
So that they can start asking the right, not just any question, but the right questions that lead to the right conversation, and then by extension the right strategy.
Exactly.
Because it is a strategy.
Absolutely. And you have to walk people through that.
Yeah.
If you've never been there, how do you know exactly? You know the end result. Yeah, you're going to get a home, but that process could be, it could be easy for some folks, or it could just be where you want to pull out all your hair. And I've sat at the closing table with people crying before. I mean, it happens.
Tears of joy.
Yeah,
not
tears
pain.
of joy. Some, it's like, I don't
Some
think
might be pain. When they have to write that big old check, if they're doing like a 20% down, then that might be a little painful. But
but it is a strategy, and every single person that you speak with, it's different for everyone.
Right.
So
let's talk about a little bit about kind of your initiatives for this position. We essentially saw the value in your experience. You know a lot of folks here at Thrive. We've been wanting to get somebody like you in this specific role because the serving underserved communities. And I love your title, the Director of Community Advancement.
Right.
And that really epitomizes exactly what you're going to be doing here at Thrive. We have a loan program. We talked about it a little bit in season 1 with one of our interviews where we talk about Thrive for Home. Basically, if you didn't listen to that episode, or if Thrive for Home is a new phrase for you, I can define it by saying this. Thrive for Home, it's not about if you're going to qualify, it's about when you're going to qualify. Because we know that a lot of things, a lot of times that there are consumers out there who don't jump or dip their foot or throw their hat in the ring when it comes to home ownership out of fear.
Right.
Because they think, oh, my credit is just bottom of the barrel. There's no way I'm going to get approved. Why even try? Well, don't let fear stop you from having a conversation. There's no commitment. There's no financial obligation for you just to have a conversation with somebody about, hey, I'm thinking about doing this down the road. Here's my situation right now. Help me figure out what I need to do to get in the best position possible. And that's exactly what Thrive for Home is all about. Exactly. So given that context, what do you see as the biggest benefit to this Thrive for Home initiative from at our company?
After doing loans for so long, a lot of the times what happens, and most lenders, realtors will say the same thing: if a customer doesn't qualify today, I have nothing for them. Right. 99% of the lenders have nothing for them.
Right.
So that means you can give a customer some advice and hopefully they go out and do it. Thrive for Home.
And then come back to
come back to you just because you were so knowingly of how this is going to happen and it's going to save your life. But the Thrive for Home program, 1, it holds people accountable. 2, it gives them an actual strategy for fixing their current situation. And then 3, we can always keep our partners in the loop while they go through this journey. And then once they come out, we're all celebrating together.
Absolutely.
And that's the goal. Now, everyone's situation is different. So we've comprised a few other companies that help us with some of the credit repair options and some of the counseling that a lot of these customers need, because we don't know unless we pull their credit. Now, after doing so many homebuyer education classes and seminars, the one thing that I always tell folks is I commend you for attempting the pre-approval process, because that's where it all starts.
Yes.
You have to at least start it.
Yeah.
We have to see exactly where you stand right now in order to put that strategy together. In order to get you in a home, you have to start. And, a lot of folks that really are willing to do so, we don't let them sign another lease again. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Not paying another landlord. Every single rent check, that you write, you're paying someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless, well said, unless you are living rent free,
right,
you are paying a mortgage.
And if you're living rent free, how does that happen?
Right. Thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you're living rent free, you are paying a mortgage. It's either your mortgage or somebody else's.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with renting as long as you've got a plan for when you're done with that, that way of basically wasting your money. It serves a need. And it's intended to, in this day and age, it's intended to be just kind of, or it should be seen as kind of a temporary thing.
Right.
Because the more you can educate people about the benefits of homeownership from a wealth building strategy standpoint,
Absolutely,
the more their eyes are opened and they're like, holy crud, I should have done this a whole lot sooner. When you show somebody, hey, look, here's the cost of waiting. If you you don't have to buy right now, but if you don't get into the market now, you are losing X number of dollars. And being able to map that out for them in cold hard facts, rather than just trying to go with the emotional side of purchasing a new home.
Right.
When you show them those cold hard facts, the emotions follow.
Yeah. And you don't have to, the one thing that we always tell folks too is this does not have to be your dream home.
Of course.
That first home you purchase, it doesn't have to be your dream home, but it's yours.
There you go.
And in the market, like we're here in Texas, I mean, here in Austin, the market is up 23%. Like that's unheard of.
Right.
So if people start purchasing instead of renting, that money that they're paying, I mean, I think the average 2-bedroom apartment in Travis County is $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
That's a $250,000 home.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You can, and now a whole bunch of people in Austin just roll their eyes like $250,000 home. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Where am I going to find that? Well, you can.
Right.
You just gotta know where to look. You got to deal with professionals who know how to find it. And even if it goes up, you're up in the 300s, there's still, well, I can't afford a 20% down payment on a $300,000 house. Nobody's asking you to.
No, there's options for that.
Yeah, we got down payment assistance grants, and there's certain qualifications with that we can help you with, where it really minimizes. Now you're talking maybe only a couple $1,000s out of pocket.
Exactly.
And you're getting a home. There's down payment, low down payment programs like down around 3%, to 3.5% if you're doing FHA, you do 5%. There's all different kinds of options, and that's what a lot of people. It's almost kind of frustrating, and that people don't know this because they're being educated, as Raul pointed out, by family members who think, oh, you got to have. I've had so many clients that I've worked with who come to me and say, we're planning on putting down 20%. Well, why? Because that's why my parents told me we should put down.
Yep.
Okay. Again, why?
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to just changing the way that you think about money.
Absolutely.
And debt and managing debt.
Yep. Yeah. So I was going to mention that too. Right now we're saving a lot of money and paying some stuff off. And, just having to do that, you realize how many things you spend your money on. Like you realize how much money you're making and how much you have. You're spending on things that you don't need to be spending on. Like there's so many habits I'm going to change after I do this, because a lot of times it's like, I just don't have the money for a house. I just don't have for the down payment. I don't have the money, but I do have the money. It's just what I'm spending, what you're spending your money on and where you're putting your money at. It's crazy. Like how much money all of a sudden that we have to save, and how many things that we didn't know we were capable of doing that we're doing now.
Right.
So I could have done this a long time ago, but it just, in my head, I was getting bad advice and I was seeing, bad things that I didn't really want to be, I didn't want to do. So it's just funny now that I'm making the same amount of money. I'm doing the same thing. It's just, we're reorganizing our money and we're making it happen.
Absolutely.
So, I was talking to a customer a few months ago, and these folks were avid coffee drinkers. Starbucks or, high-end coffee all the time.
Yeah.
But they were spending $10 to $12 a day on just their coffee. So if you fast forward that, at the end of the week, they're basically at $100 a week
each
in coffee.
Each or both? Like combined?
Combined.
Oh, okay. Even still.
Yeah. So
but it
$100
depends
a
who
week.
you are. There's some people that spend about $200 a week a month on coffee.
On
It's
coffee.
a lot.
So if you go buy the $200 coffee maker,
and
make your own coffee at home, how much money do you save?
Yeah, really,
That's
that's
budgeting.
no
101.
joke.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things that happened with us. I bought a coffee maker. It was a little pricey, but we added up how much we spend on coffee. We looked through our mobile app, and what I spent about it's kind of a guilty pleasure, but it was $500 for this really nice espresso machine, and it's identical to Starbucks, and that was it, $500. I think we were spending about $200 a month on coffee because me and my wife drink a lot of coffee, and I love going to go there to Starbucks just to use the the Wi-Fi and all that.
Yeah,
So
but the
in
thing
two and a
is,
half months, it's paid off.
yeah,
Right.
and the thing is, in the example that you just gave, you just increased your annual cash flow by about
Yes.
$2,000
Yeah.
just in
It's
that
Real
one
money.
move.
that one
Yep.
move. It's
Yeah.
Real
so
money.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But those are life lessons that you've learned, Raul. And we're trying to teach more folks that, you can still have that same high-end coffee taste in the privacy of your own home that you bought.
He's probably not putting Maxwell House in that coffee
I don't
maker,
know.
is he?
No, I hope not.
Might break it. Well, so we've talked about your past as an originator. You've talked about your passion on being an educator. We talked about Thrive for Home. Let's talk about the community advancement part.
Yes.
Because one of the longstanding, I was going to say, black marks on the lending industry, mortgage industry specifically, and the world of finance has been the inability for companies to adequately serve underserved communities.
Absolutely.
And to help minority borrowers find the same thing that non-minorities have been able to enjoy for a long time. The mortgage industry has not always existed.
Right.
I mean, I used to teach a class on the history of the mortgage industry, and you go back 100 years, and loan terms were basically interest-only loans. You had to have 50% down payment up front. I mean, granted, houses were like $5,000 then,
Right.
but you had to have 50% for the down payment, interest-only terms at like double-digit interest rate, and you had to refinance every 5 years because that was the term of the loan. It were very short term. You were only paying down. You were only required to pay interest on it. So you're basically borrowing the house and not building any equity except for the down payment that you put up front.
Yeah.
And think about during the Depression era, who had your average consumer did not have 50% of $5,000 or $7,000 to put down on a house.
Right.
So they were stuck renting. Well, that all changed with the advent of the passage of a number of different laws, with the advent of the Fair Housing Administration, and them coming along, and then private industry said, "Oh, there's a market there," and then they jumped into the mix, and then it just kind of evolved from there. But there's certain segments of our society that kind of got left behind,
Right.
in that for a number of varying reasons. And we've passed laws again and again and again to try and weed out the bad actors and those who were treating minorities unfairly.
Right.
So that's a big push, especially here at Thrive, and it's one of the reasons why you're here. What's your passion, or what is your goal for solving the community advancement problem as you see it?
Well, I see it twofold.
Mm-hmm.
First is educating.
There you go.
That part alone will set people up for the future. Educating the parents, educating the young adults right now who are entering the workforce, and understanding, like this conversation we're having about budgeting, that has to start when you're 17, 16, because then when you become a 21-year-old, you graduated college, you understand that if I only have $5 in the checkbook, I should only use $1, or whatever that looks like. So very passionate about educating our communities, our underserved communities, and not necessarily just jurisdictional as far as where in town you live, but your community as far as your work community. I've had the privilege of working with working class citizens that work for DART, for example. These folks at DART that drive the buses around Dallas and get people to and from work, they make very good money. But no one is showing them how to utilize that. yeah, you make great money, but you're still paying $1,800 a month in rent. We have to change that mindset.
Right.
That comes from people like myself, coworkers within our company, and rinsing and repeating that message until people finally start getting into their homes.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the folks that are low to moderate income, they don't even try. So we have to take that education to them, not allowing them to hopefully hear this podcast, which obviously we want you to.
Right.
But take that message to the streets, take it message in the churches. You know, the faith-based community is always a great way to be in touch with the minority families out there. Taking it to some of the schools that are out there. I mean, if we could teach a financial literacy class to a bunch of high schoolers, by all means, I'm sure they can go back and tell their parents what they learned that day. That's more impactful when it comes down to people understanding finances and understanding home ownership and the importance. And then the adults out there, once you start showing them, hey, you could go buy this home right now for $300,000. The market increase on these properties are 20% a year. Next year, that same home is going to be worth $360,000. That $60,000 is in your bank account. That's your equity.
Yeah.
Understanding what that means.
Right.
It's impactful.
Yeah.
Now we have to do that message all over the country.
Yep.
We've been partnering and we're starting to really gain some traction with a lot of the trade organizations around the country in real estate, such as NARAB, which I've been a member of for the last 10 years, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, ARIA, Asian Real Estate Association, NAREP, National Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Those organizations are in the community. Now it's time for us here at Thrive to partner with them and really get that message out.
Absolutely.
And you could do it now with social media, so many different ways. It's free for us to give you this education.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you getting a group of folks together and we can do a class on a Zoom, or we could go to your church and talk.
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like to make this information available to people. And then once it's available, what do we do to help you?
Right.
How can we get you started? And then at that point, sky's the limit for folks to be able to own their own homes.
You know, I like what you said about bringing education to those communities. You and I chatted. I used to be a high school teacher. One of the classes that I taught was a class called business law. And in this course, there was a section on real property, and it was abysmally thin. It was maybe two or three pages. There's only a couple of paragraphs dedicated to residential real estate, and then the other page and a half or 2 pages was dedicated to commercial real estate. And I was like, this is going to bore the crap out of my students.
Right.
And I had a very wide mix of ethnicities, white, black kids, Hispanic kids, had a couple of Asian kids in this same, all in the same class. So vastly different backgrounds for all of them. And I said, you know what, I'm not teaching out of the textbook for this particular segment, because I was also a realtor at the time. I had experience in the real estate industry. And so I came up with a lesson plan where I was going to divide them into groups of 4, and everybody was going to play a role. One person was going to be the realtor, one person was going to be the title agent, one person was going to be the lender, and then another person was going to be the client.
Got it.
And so, and I set out different scenarios. I said, okay, client, you're shopping for this much house. This is your family situation. This is your income. This is your budget. This is, I gave them all the criteria, but I didn't share anybody else's criteria with each other. I told them, I gave them one day, I gave them a lesson. This is what a realtor does. This is what a mortgage lender does. This is what a title agent does. And then when we assigned the groups, I said, okay, client, go buy a house. And so they sat down and knew that the first step was for them to talk to their mortgage lender. I made sure to set it up that way so that they knew how much home they could afford based on the numbers that I gave them. Well, I gave the mortgage lender a couple of the basic formulas that we use to pre-qualify borrowers. Gave the borrowers a fake credit profile that are available out there if you want to do like any kind of testing or anything like that. Yeah. So I signed one of these profiles to them. I said, this is your credit score. Here's your income. Give that to the lender and figure it out. So the lender did all their calculations. They said, okay, you can afford this much. And so then they got with the realtor, and the realtor said, go find me this house. Well, I keyed them into, I think we just ended up using some online platform to do the house search. Actually, no, I take it back. I was a realtor, so I gave them access to MLS. Don't tell ABOR that I did that because they wouldn't like that. But anyway, the realtor started doing home search and said, okay, here's 3 or 4 different options for you. Which one do you like? And obviously we couldn't tour the properties, but they just picked one from the picture. And then they wrote up and I acted as the listing agent.
Got it.
And so I would go around when the realtor would hold up an offer. I'd go around, I'd look it over. I was like, nope, let's do these conditions, blah, blah, blah. And we just kind of do a little negotiating back and forth. And then we'd have a signed contract. By the end of the class, that was the most engaged I'd ever seen this particular class. There's some rowdy kids in this one. And even the rowdiest ones were like, this is so cool.
Right.
I had more kids come up to me after that class and say, why can't more classes be like this? And it broke my heart for them because I was like, dadgummit. I mean, the opportunity is out there, and anyone who thinks that teenagers just don't want to learn, that's a bunch of bullcrap.
Right.
They do want to learn. They just don't like the way that we've been teaching. The adults have been trying to teach them.
Exactly. Yeah. My oldest son is 25, and one day he was talking about real estate to me, and he's been around. He's seen me in the office all these years, and he started talking. He was like, Dad, you guys been talking about investing and all of that. It's almost like Monopoly. I said, it's exactly like Monopoly.
She's not wrong.
I said, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You either own or you
rent.
And he was like, golly, I didn't even think about that. I said, so you got to get your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
It starts when you're 25. It starts when you're able to work a full-time job and start saving money. But then at the same time, you can start strategizing as soon as you get college. Why not? A lot of folks back in the day when I was living in Lubbock, a lot of the parents would come in and buy the home that their student or their kid was living in. So instead of the kid renting from another landlord, they're basically renting from their parents, but they would have a roommate, and the roommate was basically paying the parents' mortgage.
There you go.
So then when the kid would get out of school, that program was FHA. So it was called like their kiddie condo is what we would call those. So the kid's name was on the loan and the title. So when they would graduate college, they have 4 years worth of equity into this home, and then they could refinance their parents off if they choose to stay there or not when they start their new job.
Right.
That is the game of life. That's how we really build legacy for our kids. And us as parents, we have to set that example.
Right.
So
it's really interesting to me hearing people talk about wealth, especially when they talk about it on social media. Like if a wealthy person chimes in and has a nugget of wisdom to dispense to this crowd, especially if it's on Twitter.
Right.
I've got a big problem with Twitter, but no offense, Twitter. I mean, I'm sure you're fine people, but it ends up being the comment threads. I really don't even bother engaging with those because it's most frequently it's a race to the bottom.
Right.
And you go into the comments and you see, yeah, well, you're just a rich guy. You don't know.
Right.
And blah, 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 blah. That's not it at all. The perception that most people with a lot of wealth, the perception that they have of why they generated that wealth is because they wanted options.
Right.
Not because they wanted to say, hey, look at my fancy car. Look at all the cash I got. Look at my bling. Any of that stuff. It's not because they were chasing some image. It's because they were smart about it. Somebody educated them on it. And I'm not talking about people that are like social media influencers or rock stars or people that you see actually flashing their cash and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm talking about people you've never even heard of.
Absolutely.
Who are your next door neighbors living in a $300,000 house when they could easily afford an $850,000 house.
Exactly.
They just have a different perception of what wealth can do for you in the long run.
Absolutely. But
that's what I was going to mention that earlier about the coffee thing. Going back to that, it's like, the people that figured that out a long time ago were wealthy people.
Yeah.
Like us people, like, well, me, I include myself in that. I was going to Starbucks like an idiot every day,
no,
but
everybody does that,
Yeah.
It starts when you're in college. You don't even have money and you're still buying $5-6 cups of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back where I grew up, I mean, I have family members too. They buy $300 shoes. I'm like, why?
I had that conversation yesterday. I had that conversation yesterday with Phil Treadwell.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about how some of my friends that I've seen out there, they're bragging about cars and new pairs of Jordans.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, no way you're going to go put a $50,000 Tahoe in an apartment complex. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
Some of the nicest cars I've seen have been in the parking lots of
But
apartments.
I'm gonna put it out there. So I had bought a $50,000 car, and I lived in an apartment complex in Irving. And one day I was getting ready to go into a meeting. Well, I thought I was. Walked out of my apartment. My Escalade was gone.
Yeah.
Gated apartment community.
Yep.
Escalade was gone. So did I have any control of that? Absolutely not. Now, could that have happened at my house? Yes.
Sure.
But
but you might have had an option for a garage if you had the house.
Exactly. Or I shouldn't have had the $50,000 car in the apartment complex, so it wouldn't stand out like that, right?
Right.
But that's a life lesson learned.
Yeah,
brother.
There you go.
I see people, wearing like name brand clothes, and I'm like, you do realize, like, it'll be really big, the name brand. I'm like, you do realize that people don't wear that. It's like they think it's like a status thing, but it's like, wealthy people don't waste their money on things like that. And it's really funny because I went and bought 3 pairs of shoes for like $150, and my niece was telling me that she bought ones for like $300, just 1 pair. I'm like,
can't do it, man.
That's such a ridiculous decision. But you're right. It's like they don't view wealth like that. They view wealth as name brand and really expensive cars that they can't afford, things like that. And the funny thing is, the wealthy people don't view those things like that. They have a different point of view on it.
Very much so.
It's just shopping smarter. Like I like name brand stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, but my style has pretty much been the same since I was in high school. Polos and khakis, or polos and blue jeans. It really hadn't changed much, right?
Same.
But I'm not going to buy the polo at $90.
Exactly.
I'm going to go to the outlet and get that exact same polo, maybe last year's polo for $40, and
or 2 years ago. Yeah.
And you know what? Nobody knows the difference. And it's not that you're being cheap. It's just being smart. And I think that's the way people look at it, is like, oh, you're just being cheap. No, I'm not. I'm being smart about it. Like nobody will know the difference. Nobody will know the difference. And and I like name brand stuff as well. So it's not that I'm not guilty of some of these things. I definitely am. It's just that I've gotten a lot smarter when it comes to wealth and all that. And you're right. I wasn't taught wealth in school, but one of the things I really learned is a lot of wealthy people, a lot of successful people really want to share that knowledge. And so they're extremely happy to make a video. One person I really love to watch on YouTube is Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And you think about that guy, and he's one of the most aggressive. If you haven't seen the show, it's, a lot of entrepreneurs that go and they pitch their ideas, and then you have like these investors. And so one guy is Mr. Wonderful. He's very aggressive with his deals. And the really funny thing about him is I follow him on YouTube. The guy's a multimillionaire, and he's making YouTube videos on how to become wealthy. Why does this person care to share his ideas? It's just because wealthy people they tapped into something and they want to share that knowledge. And it's the funniest thing, because why would this guy, who's an investor, a multimillionaire, care about that? It's just it's a trait of wealthy people. They just love to share that. And so
you have to
I
pay
watch
it
a lot of
forward.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had asked me that question earlier. Why have I been in this business so long and so passionate about it? It's because the humble beginnings where I started would have never thought, if you take 16-year-old Tay Tolliver in Lubbock, Texas, would have ever thought that I would live the life that I've been able to live and how fortunate I've been. But all the life lessons that I've learned, I have to give that information out to people, and it's for free.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for sure. It's for free.
Yeah.
And anyone that calls me or pulls me over on the side of the road or whatever that looks like, I'm always sharing information about home ownership, investing, property management, all of that, just because I've been there, done that. And I feel like everyone can. It's not like a weird science to this,
No,
everybody can. They just don't realize they can.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, I just didn't realize, like, there's no sign saying that you can't move into this neighborhood or you can't do these things. You can, you just don't know about it, and you don't know how to get there, and so you just got to get, you just got to learn.
But then it's on us too to instill that confidence in folks and really get them energized and energetic about wanting to, hey, let me go ahead and submit this application. You know what? I think I am ready. We have to get people from the fear. That's where it all starts. It's the fear of the unknown. Okay, I've never bought a home. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know about maintenance of a house, so I shouldn't do anything.
Learn.
You can YouTube video just about any home DIY project, period. And I mean, I've learned how to change out sink faucets from a YouTube video, and now I'm a pro at it. And it probably saved me $400.
There is a plumber in Dallas who is now a multi-millionaire. He's a highly sought after speaker on industry panels talking about social media. And all he did was about 8 years ago, he started putting out YouTube videos of, hey, you got a toilet that won't stop running? Well, here's how you fix it. It's in the tank. You take out this device, you add in another one, just replace the seal, and boom, you're done. And you'll not only sleep well at night, you'll save on your water bill.
And so all those companies that make that easy plumbing kit probably sponsor him now.
Well, they probably do now. Yeah, but when he started, it was just him and a small dinky camera and somebody else holding it and shining a light down in the toilet tank. And he started doing these videos and started doing them more and more and more, and started getting more and more viewers. And now, because he was just freely giving away all this advice that every plumber, any plumber could have started that, any of them. This guy started it.
Right.
And now he's a YouTube sensation, and he's making a gajillion dollars a year because he's definitely making more off of his videos and his social media presence than he is off of plumbing.
Which you probably make a lot of money in plumbing.
Oh yeah, plumbers are paid well.
That's another topic of discussion and the lack of education and what we're not teaching our kids in school, but we won't go there today.
About you got to go to college so that you can get a degree in art history and not have any useful skills when you're done. Yeah, we can definitely have that conversation.
Instead of learning a trade and charging people $150 to just stand on your front porch.
Yeah.
No offense to art history majors. I'm sure it's coming really handy.
Or you musicians.
Or musicians.
I know, right?
Hey, Raul's a musician.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that sometime soon.
Yeah. I'd like to hear that.
Well, what is it that you are most excited about seeing accomplished in either by Thrive or by you or just the team that's around you? What are you most excited about seeing coming in your position?
The one thing that over the past few weeks, I've been getting to know everyone and hearing people's stories and seeing where they are right now. And some of the things that I've done, I'd love to be able to present some of this information to them so they can take that out into their communities. So I'm really, Thrive is backing me on that. Like it's, hey, we're following you. What do you want to do? We're all about getting out there in the community. And you don't hear that anymore.
No.
It's not popular for a mortgage bank to want to take on small government loans or to want to help folks get down payment assistance or to help people credit counsel. Like that stuff is not making us money tomorrow. And a lot of companies out there aren't interested in that. When you meet Roy and Randall in this company, they're all about that.
Absolutely.
They want to help as many people as we can in this country. And if it takes us to infinity and beyond, what is that? Thrive and beyond?
That's Thrive Beyond.
That's
our theme this year. Yeah.
This is exactly just one tool that we have to offer folks. So I'm really looking forward to it in all our markets. It's going to be interesting.
It is. I'm excited to see it too. And you and I've had multiple conversations. Anything that you need from us to help you spread that gospel, then we're in.
I appreciate it. The last thing that I'm really ready to start helping affordable housing. So that's another thing and another topic out there that I feel like you can't find a home in Austin proper under $400,000.
It's hard.
Very hard. We have to find ways to find affordable housing opportunities for folks, whether that's us going down to city council and seeing if there's available lots so we can, find a builder to go out and do something. Or if that's finding a builder or a developer that would be willing to build property, maybe more rural, that's more affordable for families.
Right.
I want to help that. I want to see that happen because there are a ton of families out there who, they probably won't be able to afford where they currently live, but there might be something available for them outside of town.
Right.
And, you might have to commute, but you get to own your own property at that point. So that's something that I'm very passionate about, partnering with our build team and figuring out ways and meeting the right folks that we can bring those products and options to families.
Right.
Yep.
Coming soon.
Very cool. Nice. So how can people, I'm sorry, Raul, did you want to
chime in? I was going to mention that, hopefully I'll be in that area soon and maybe we can make some videos to help you spread the word. Cause I honestly, really love the conversation and I would love to continue that, online. And, it's one of the things I love about Thrive is that through video, like I have family members that work in like the police departments and, the army and things like that. And I've always wanted to help out in some kind of way. And I feel like right now, since I've been here at Thrive, we've been doing a lot of outreach and helping vets and like doing podcasts about like, the homeless and things like that, how to get them into housing and, affordable housing and things like that. So for me, that's one of the ways I really want to help out. So next time I'm in that area, or if you're ever in the Frisco area, let's talk and maybe let's make some videos for social media. I definitely want to help you spread that word.
That'd be awesome, man. I'm only 2 hours away from you, so we can be up there anytime. It's imperative.
Yeah.
Like we have to help folks, and
we do.
We have the platform now that we can do so. We can get that message out. And, the other thing is we have to celebrate the wins that we do get from this.
Yeah.
So when we do help that one family who their cousin told them they needed 20% down and they were able to keep that money in their pocket and buy a home, we want to celebrate on their doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's on them now to pay it forward.
Yeah.
And teach their friends and their family that this is how we can do it. This is how they can help you. And, it's fortunate that we have a ton of loan officers in this country with our company that will be more than willing to help them.
Absolutely.
I love that.
All over the place. Well, Tay, how can people either follow you on social or get in touch with you if they want to learn more about the initiatives you're pushing, or have you come speak at a because I know that you've been called on to be a panelist at a lot of industry conferences and stuff like that. So
so you can always reach me on my phone, 619-762-0770. I'm still old fashioned. You can call me, text me. I'm on Facebook under Tatadrian Tolliver. I'm on IG under Tolliver Tay, and I'm also on LinkedIn on Tay Tolliver. So reach out to me, give me a call, send me a message. I'll respond that day, and who knows, we can partner up and see what we can do to help you in your community.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you having me today, brother.
Absolutely. It's always good to see you. Love talking to you, man. We're going to get you that podcast of your own here real soon.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely need one, man. And it's one of the ways I can help you out.
All right, man. I'll be ready. You let me know.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys.
I still like the Tuesday Talks with Tay.
Tuesday Talks with Tay.
Yeah. I like that brand.
We can make it happen.
Let's do it. All right, man.
All right, guys.
Well, thank y'all for listening in. As you're probably guessed from the context of what we were talking about, Thrive Mortgage is the title sponsor of Thriveonomics. We just exist to educate consumers and let you know all the wonderful things that this company can do for you and help educate you on how to start building generational wealth and change your life for the better and for the life of everyone around you. So with that being said, thank you, Tay, for joining us. Raul, thank you as always for running the board and keeping us connected.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time. I think this was a really good first episode for season 2.
Yeah. That bar is up here.
You set the bar high. I don't know what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do to top it. We'll probably have to have like jugglers or pet tricks,
fire breathers.
So I don't know if the building allows to have that in the studio.
We were already in here before with the fire alarms.
Right. Anyway, y'all, thanks for listening. Appreciate you tuning in, and make sure that whatever platform you're on, leave us a review and tell us what you love about it. If you have any suggestions for future guests or future topics that you want to hear us talk about, send those to thriveonomics@thrivemortgage.com, and we will get that and get that incorporated in the show. But would love to hear from you and what you like about the show, what you don't like. anything we can change, and we'll go from there. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
This is Thriveonomics. The title sponsor of this show is Thrive Mortgage. Licensed in multiple states across the U.S., Thrive Mortgage employs the best professionals equipped with leading technology and the most efficient process to deliver a legendary lending experience.
For more information about how we can serve you or to find a local mortgage professional in your area, please visit us at thrivemortgage.com.
Thrive Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 268552.